Got a witch's cat howling outside the door.
Hello?
Happy Halloween, everyone, and welcome back to Retro Dregs, the bottom of the gaming barrel. Yes, it's the spooky season once again, and as a video game collector, sometimes there's nothing more scary than seeing the prices that some old games command. But for some of these retro rarities, there is a way of adding them to your collection without breaking the bank. But before I get into the Halloween themed list of games that I've compiled, this is by no means a slight on anyone who is going after an original copy of any of these games that I'm about to mention. And this is just meant as an alternative, economical way of saving a bit of money and officially adding these games to your collection. So with that out of the way, let's get into it. First game we're going to talk about on the list is Disney's Gargoyles. Based on the Disney series of the same name, this 1995 platform beat-em-up never saw a release here in the UK. The game now commands quite high prices for an original copy, and despite having a recent physical release on modern platforms by Limited Run, that too has sadly shot up in price due to the nature of there only being a finite amount of copies. You can, however, add this game to your collection digitally via PlayStation Network for as little as £5 and a little bit more expensive on Xbox and Switch at £12. The copy I have, however, came bundled in with this bad boy, the AtGames Legends Flashback. This mini console is jam-packed with officially licensed arcade, SNES and Mega Drive games. Not only is Gargoyles on the menu here, but other Disney classics for the Mega Drive including Aladdin, The Lion King, and another quite pricey Mega Drive game, Donald in Maui Mallard. Not the most expensive game out there, but to pick up a loose cart on the Mega Drive will set you back upwards of 40 quid. And that's before you start looking at boxed copies and having the right kit to play it on in the first place. And at around the £50 mark for this system, complete with 2 Sega-inspired controllers and 100 officially licensed games built in, you're looking at picking up the likes of Gargoyles, Maui Mallard and Aladdin for as little as 50p a game. Before we get into the next game or series of games that I have selected for this list, please do leave a like on this video and do subscribe if you're not already. I am almost at 100 subscribers, so to me that would be an amazing milestone to achieve and continue to motivate me to make more videos like this for you to enjoy. It may only be a small milestone, but to me 100 subscribers would be incredible. So thank you to all of you already subscribed, and a big thank you to all of you about to press that button now. Nice one. So with that little subscription push out of the way, the next game on this list is Castlevania. I'm going to be talking specifically about the 2D Castlevania games. And as far as Castlevania goes, I mean, pick your poison. 8-bit, 16-bit, 32-bit. All the physical games, if you want to get hold of them, are going to cost you quite a bit of money. But there are ways of getting hold of physical copies without having to remortgage your house. First up, you've got the Castlevania Anniversary Collection, which has 3 NES games in there, including Castlevania 3 Dracula's Curse. Super Castlevania's on there, as well as the expensive Castlevania Bloodlines / Generations for the Sega Mega Drive. This is available digitally on Steam, Switch, Xbox and PlayStation, and also got a physical release as well, although that was quite limited, but can still be found online for some quite reasonable prices. There is also the Castlevania Advance Collection, which has all the Game Boy Advance games on there, as well as Vampire's Kiss for the Super Nintendo. But the 2 people seem to really want to get their hands on is Castlevania Symphony of the Night and Castlevania Rondo of Blood. Rondo of Blood was released in 1993 exclusively in Japan and didn't reach Western shores until 2007, with the version I'll come to shortly. This gorgeous action platformer was made available on the Wii Virtual Console in the late 2000s and is easily one of the best Castlevania games in the franchise. The direct sequel, Symphony of the Night, was released worldwide in 1997, and with it birthed a subgenre known as Metroidvania, thanks to its focus on non-linear exploration of Castle Dracula, requiring keys and special items in order to progress. The physical version, complete with art book and soundtrack CD, now command very high prices, so if you aren't in the market to pay that high cost, seeking out an alternative release is definitely the way to go. Rondo of Blood, along with Symphony of the Night, is available via the Castlevania Requiem compilation, available on PS4, 5, Xbox, Switch and Steam, and starts at around about $15.99 at time of recording, and you'll be looking at paying a lot more for a physical copy as it only had a limited release via Limited Run Games. Also, we have the what is this thing called? There is a version of Rondo of Blood available on the PC Engine Core Graphics Mini thing. Still not the cheapest way of owning it physically, but for £65 in CEX, you can own it for the PSP. Castlevania The Dracula X Chronicles for the PSP, which contains a remake of Rondo of Blood in a 2.5 3D style, as well as unlockable versions of the original Rondo of Blood and Symphony of the Night. Last but not least is one of the most expensive SNES games that you can pick up these days, and that is Demon's Crest. This is just a repro box that I like to put on display, as I do own it, technically. Demon's Crest is a Capcom developed platformer released in PAL territories in 1995, and is the third in the Gargoyle's Quest trilogy of games. With mild RPG elements and an emphasis on exploration, this beautiful looking game featuring characters from Ghouls and Ghosts is currently available digitally for the Switch through the Nintendo Classic series. And the way I got hold of Demon's Crest was via this, the Super Retrocade by Retrobit. So this was something I wanted to pick up just because it had a nice selection of arcade games on there, including yet another version of Final Fight. And it was only when I was going through the game list and looking at the images on the inside of this flap on the box that I noticed Demon's Crest hidden here. Kept that quiet, didn't you, Retrocade? There's loads of other great Capcom games on here, including Super Ghouls and Ghosts, Mighty Final Fight, and Final Fight 2 and 3. Retrocades are still available, though the prices fluctuate dramatically from as little as £40 upwards of £100. Just check out these listings here. So no, I don't own an original copy of Demon's Crest, but happy to say I own an official copy. And again, this is not a video to knock anyone who is saving up or spending the money tracking down and finding original copies. This is just to offer anyone out there who is curious about these games and wants to own them and add them to their collection in some form without spending a fortune. I'm sure there are plenty other examples of expensive games that are available via these means out there as well. So if you know of any, let me know. So there we have it, a selection of economical alternatives to add these heavy-hitting, expensive retro games to your collection. So now, over to you. Is this something you would consider doing in order to play these games? Or perhaps you'd rather save the pennies and pick up the original physical copies for your collection? Whatever your preference, let me know in a comment below. And please do like this video and consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already to see more videos like this and other gaming related nonsense that falls out of my head. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon in another video. Hang on.